Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how to tell if they are emotionally immature. So this is a dating advice video, and maybe you have been out on a few dates with someone and you're trying to figure out if they are emotionally immature, or perhaps you want some sort of guideline on before you go out on a date to see if you're actually, before you meet this person, to see if they're actually emotionally immature. So there are a few things that I want to get into. There's about 5 things here. So the first thing that I want to get into is poor communication. So if someone is emotionally immature, then they'll have a communication issue. They won't be able to talk to you like a normal human being, basically, right? Especially as this will mostly be played out in someone who's stubborn. So people that can't say sorry, even though they're the one that are at fault. Passive aggressiveness as well. So, saying things that, I guess you could say an example of passive aggressiveness is like if you ask, them, oh, how are you feeling today? And they'll just go, oh, I'm fine. And then they won't tell you what's actually going on, and they refuse to tell you what's actually going on, and they're just expecting you to be a mind reader. Someone that is expecting you to be a mind reader and doesn't communicate how they're feeling is emotionally immature, and just immature in general, right? Okay, a lot of this is just immature. It's not just emotionally immature, it's just plain immature. Okay. Sometimes they can be quite selfish, so they only talk about the things that they want to talk about. Sometimes that can be a good thing if you are like introverted, and you're not really a big speaker. You don't really like talking about yourself too much. You don't really know how to do that. You're not very good at opening up or whatever. So sometimes it can be good to just ask questions to someone and then just, answer them and just talk for hours. But usually, if they are sensible and if they are emotionally mature, they will ask you about you occasionally, right? So you might ask them, hey, how are you? And then they'll go on and on about their day. And then if they are kind and if they are emotionally mature, they will ask how you are as well. They will ask about you. They will inquire about you. Even a really chatty person who is emotionally mature will still ask you how you are and what you're up to and be curious about you. Someone who's emotionally immature won't give a crap about you, okay? And how you're doing. They're self-absorbed, right? I guess that's another way of saying it. Someone who's self-absorbed, okay? So they'll have poor communication skills, mind reading, that kind of thing. Asking, basically assuming that you're a mind reader and not telling you what's actually going on. Giving you subtle things rather than just telling you, right? Making you try and get hints as opposed to actually just flat out saying what's on their mind, okay? So another thing that shows someone is emotionally immature is if they have extreme expectations about love and relationships that they've adopted from really dumb places like movies and fiction and TV shows, right? They're expecting you to, I don't know, do big grand gestures, or they're expecting you to do, just really emotionally weird things that you only see in movies and television shows. So, for example, recently, me and my wife have been watching Grey's Anatomy. It's something that we've never watched before, and we've watched it from the beginning. We're on like season 5 now, right? And these relationships in the show are so emotionally immature, right? There's like the main characters like Derek and Meredith who are always like breaking up and getting back together, breaking up and getting back together. It happens like every episode, they break up and get back together. And they always have issues and they can't communicate. And there's other relationships where, they go from one relationship straight into another. And, I know it's a soap opera, I know it's a drama, but it's just so weird and funny to watch. And you can just imagine like all the impressionable people that watch these things and just think that's how love is, when it really, really isn't, and how relationships should be, how dating should be. It's just everyone's sleeping with each other, everyone's cheating on each other, all that kind of stuff, and it's just, give me a break. But some people think this is normal. Someone will watch this TV show and think this is how romance should be, when it really isn't. Okay, so they'll have weird expectations about what love is, adopted from fiction, films, TV, movies, and that kind of stuff, right? So that's another thing to look out for. Okay, so another sign that someone is emotionally immature is that the small things become dramatic. Okay, so it could be just something like you say something that's not really offensive, but for whatever reason it just rubs them up the wrong way and it turns into a massive thing. Right? Someone who makes mountains out of molehills, I guess you could say, they're emotionally immature. Okay, they're essentially throwing a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old, who couldn't get any snacks from the supermarket, right? That's a sign that someone is emotionally immature, right? So an example of that may be, let's say you don't want to do something one night, right? Let's say you're meeting up and they want to go to the movies, but you're like, you know what? I kind of just want to have something to eat and I kind of just want to go home. I've had a really long day and I'm just tired. And they will get butthurt about that. They'll be like, oh yeah, but I thought we was planning on going to the movies. We was going to do that. And they start whinging, right? And they make it into a big thing. And they're saying, well, if you don't take me to the movies anymore, it means you don't love me. Yeah, and they bring up, like, they make these like absolutes, like, if you don't do this, then you don't love me. If you don't do this, then you don't care about me. And they make every small thing dramatic. Okay, whereas a normal person would say, okay, if you're not feeling great, if you're feeling a bit tired, we don't have to do that today, right? That's but they can't do that because they make mountains out of molehills and they're just really dramatic, and they see, and it may go back as well to their expectations, having unrealistic expectations. It's like they want you to do everything in such a way that it pleases them, and if you just step one toe out of line, they just come down on you like a mountain of bricks, right? So there's something else to look out for as well. They make small things dramatic. Another sign that someone is emotionally immature is that they have trust issues where it's not warranted. Now, this means that they could accuse you of cheating and things when it's not actually happening. Things like that, right? That's a sign someone is emotionally immature. Now, it could be that they've actually had experiences in the past where they've been cheated on. So that was a big hurdle for me to get over when I started dating new people after I had been in a relationship where I'd been cheated on. And it does take a while. It's kind of like you've got a nagging voice in the back of your head that's saying, this person doesn't love you, this person's going to cheat on you. But someone who is emotionally immature only lets it be a nagging voice. They never let it come to the forefront, and they start actually claiming and making accusations when it's not warranted, right? Like, you are definitely cheating on me. You came home 10 minutes late, you're cheating on me, or whatever it may be, right? They will say something like that if they're emotionally immature. They'll have really weird, bizarre trust issues, right? And a lot of it really just comes down to low self-esteem. Right? They don't believe that they're actually lovable. And that's one of the biggest signs of someone who is emotionally immature. They have really low self-esteem, or really fragile ego, fragile self-esteem, right? So it's very easy to just knock them off center and then for them to just like go into a tailspin, basically. So yeah, someone who's like that, definitely try to avoid if they've got trust issues where it's not warranted and things like that. So another sign, and I've already kind of spoken about this a little bit, which is they're selfish. They're deeply, deeply selfish. It's kind of like they don't see you as a real person. They see you as someone that they can get their needs met by, right? So they get you to do everything. Again, they get really upset if you change the plans because for whatever reason you don't feel like it, and they make it all about them. Right? That's essentially what it is, right? They make it all about them. So even the things that you do, they think is a slight against them. So it could be like, okay, let's say you pick someone up, you pick your girlfriend up for a date, and you have a drink in your car, and then she'll get in and she'll be like, where's my drink? Right? And it might have been a drink that you bought like that morning and it's just still in your car or something like that, and they'll just make everything about them, and they'll see like you getting a drink for yourself this morning and not thinking of them and getting them one for that evening as like a big issue, and they'll turn it into a big issue as well, right? So it's little things like that you need to look out for. Some of these things are really subtle, some of these things are really in your face, right? But I'll go through them one more time with you. So poor communication. extreme expectations, small things become dramatic, trust issues where it's not warranted, and being selfish, right? Because ultimately, relationships really are a place that you go to give, right? To share experiences with each other, right? And when you're giving to your relationship and you're not just taking, for example, you plan out a day with your loved one, right? And you make it all about them, right? That's a really nice thing to do, right? Because usually it's that kind of thing, because the more you give to a relationship, the more you get out of it. So when you give to a normal, healthy person and you plan out a day for them, for you to do together, they'll be really happy, they'll be really joyful, they'll be so happy that you planned that. And they will also, again, do something for you later on, right? But the best thing about really relationships is doing that act of kindness, is by, planning those things out, and giving to your partner. Those are the things that make you feel really good. And when you get to a place where giving feels more better than receiving, then you'll know that you yourself are emotionally mature, because you know how great it is to, see your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband's face light up when you've done something really special for them, right? And that really is that's the juice in some relationships, right? It's so nice to be able to give to your partner and to see their little face light up. And it just feels amazing when you do that. And it feels even better than receiving, okay? But there are some people out there who are emotionally immature who think the opposite of that. It only feels good when they're receiving. It's like they're a void, like a black hole, and all they do is just take and just suck the energy out of everybody, right? And that's the kind of people that you want to avoid. You want to be more drawn to people that are givers, that are loving, and obviously reciprocate as well. They don't just give, and you don't just give. You get something back in return. But that's just something to look out for as well. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Bye.